Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making brownies, and this is the brownie recipe that's in my cookbook. It's on page 231. Normally when I make my brownies, I make them in a 9x9 baking dish and I just cut them. If I'm doubling it, I'll make it in a 9x13 dish. But today I'm going to be trying something new and I need your support. I need you to watch this video with me and cheer me on, because I've been asked to make some brownies for a reception that's coming up, and I'm going to try to make some bite-sized brownies. Well, I have ordered me this little silicone baking dish, if you please, or baking sheet, and look, it just folds up. So I'm going to need your help. But I have researched this. A lot of people use the silicone. It's perfectly safe. It's the right size for the bite-sized brownies that I want to make. And I'm going to have to see how this is going to work out. So stay tuned and stay with me. To make our brownies, I'm using 1 ounce of, which would be 1 square of unsweetened chocolate, 1/2 stick of butter, 1/2 cup of butter, which is a stick of butter, 1/2 cup, 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 2/3 of a cup of self-rising flour, and I've sifted this and I've measured it, and I'm using White Lily self-rising flour. I'll be using 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now if you wanted to, it's optional. You could add nuts, pecans if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna make these plain. But again, I'm gonna be baking them in this new silicone little baking dish that I have here. And we are gonna see how that's gonna turn out. So let's get busy and try it. I'll meet you over at the stove. The first thing that we're going to do is to melt our butter and our chocolate. See you in a bit. I am starting to melt our butter and our chocolate, unsweetened chocolate, and I like to melt mine really slowly. So I'm using a small saucepan here, and remember I have 1 stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup of butter, and 1 ounce of unsweetened chocolate. So I'm going to continue to melt this, and once it gets melted, as I said, I'm melting it really slowly, then we will add our other ingredients. Okay, we're about to be on a roll and get these brownies made, or these bite-sized brownies made. So to our melted chocolate and butter, I'm adding 1 cup of sugar, white granulated sugar. I like to stir mine around, kind of get it melted and mixed in really well. Just keep stirring it, just like that, around the edges and in the center. Next, I'm going to add our flour. Remember, this is 2/3 of a cup of self-rising flour, and I used White Lily. So I'm just going to stir this around. I've been thinking about how I'm going to get this brownie mix or batter in those little tiny compartments in my silicone baking sheet, and I've got a little plan, but I'm just kind of figuring this out as we go. So I'm depending on you to help me with this. So next we're going to add our eggs, and I like to beat mine a little bit before I put them in there. So I'm just taking a fork and beating my eggs, and then I'm going to add them to the batter. I think I'll go ahead and add our vanilla. This is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. That smells so good. I love, love, love vanilla. So now I'm just going to stir this around. A whisk would work really well here. I did not get one out this morning, so I'm just going to use this spatula that I have here. That works just as well. I'll turn my pan around a little bit, or turn it to the side so that I can incorporate everything. And here we have all of our ingredients in our brownie mix. Now, like I said, how in the world are we going to get this brownie mix in these little tiny compartments? Well, this is what I'm going to do, and we'll see if it works. I have a quart jar here, and I have a decorating bag. This is one that you would use if you were decorating a cake. And I have folded the top back, and I'm just going to put it down in this quart jar to kind of hold it. Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not, so we're going to try this together. And I'm going to pour my batter, or some of my batter, into this bag. And I may have a mess. We'll just see. I'm not going to pour it. Well, I may pour it all. We'll just see how much I can get in there. I don't think I can get it all in there. And like I said, I am just experimenting with this. I'm going to slip on some gloves because anytime that I'm working with this, if I use gloves, it just kind of slides off the glove, and if I just use my hands, it sticks to my hands. So now let's see what we can do next to make this work. So I'm going to fold this up, or bring this up to the top like this. And I think I may, no, I don't think I will. Started to say I think I'll add the rest of the batter. So I'm going to take it out of the jar, set that aside. I'm going to twist this, and I'm going to clip it using a chip clip that I have here. Now, I got to figure out how to do the bottom so it doesn't all run out before I get ready for it to run out. So I'm going to put a little chip clip here, and I'm going to cut the end off of this little baggie, this little decorating bag. Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not. We're just trying. So hang with me and cheer me on. That's what I asked you to do. So now I'm going to bring over my little silicone thing that I have here, baking sheet. And I've placed it on a cookie sheet because if it runs over, or I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to see. So now let's figure out, we don't want to overfill. So I figure about half full, and I have sprayed this. I read that if you spray it, it cleans easier. So I went ahead and sprayed it with a non-stick spray that had flour in it. So I'm just going to I'm going to fill it about half full. And that may be too much. I think I did fill that one a little more than half. So can you see what I'm doing here? It doesn't take much because these brownies are going to rise. I think I may be putting too much. But like I said, I'm just experimenting. We'll see how this works. I hope you can see this. And this one batch of brownies is going to make a lot of brownies. This little sheet that I have here makes 24 little bite-sized brownies. Of course, you could use this little sheet with these little square molds. You could use it to make anything, I guess. with your children or your grandchildren. So I'm just going to finish filling these, or half filling them. And then I've got our oven. It's on 350. I'll put it in the oven. I don't know how long it's going to take to bake it. I'll bring you back in and we'll look at it together. And if we made a mess, or if I made a mess, I've got enough batter that I can start over and not put as much in here. But I'm just kind of testing it to see how much batter I need to put in here. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, let's check these brownies. Well, they're looking pretty good. Now you can tell that on the ones on the outside here, I didn't put as much in there, but y'all, I turned the light on and I have this glass door, and I watched these brownies and they began to rise, and I thought they were going to be too tall, but then they fell back down. So they're done, and I'm going to take them out, put them on a cooling rack. I'm going to pop them out, and then we'll see how they look. I think I'm going to mix up some birthday cake icing and maybe put a dab of that in the center, depending on how they turn out of the pan. So I'm going to put them on the rack, and then I'll be back. Okay, I have our brownies popped out. I'm going to turn them over, but I want to show you something. I want to be real transparent with you. That's the right thing to do. The brownies on this side, I started popping them out before they got cool. And you'll see that I have a little bit of brownie left in here. Well, what I read was that if you spray, it makes for easy cleanup. So what you want to do is to leave the brownies until they get cool. Go ahead and loosen them around the sides, let them cool, and then they'll just pop right out. These right here on this side, they popped out easier. The bottom stayed together. So there we have our little bite-sized brownies. I'm going to do another making of these. I've got enough batter left that I can have at least this many more, if not more than that. So I'm real proud of them, and I think I'll just put a little bit of icing on there, and when I do that, I'll come back. Okay, I made up some birthday cake icing. It's on page 186 in my cookbook, and I've put it here. I just made a fourth of a recipe because I don't need that much for these little brownies. And so I put it in this little baggie, and I'm using a large star tip, and I'm going to put a little star on top. So I'm just going to press down and pull it off very, very quickly. So I'm just going to press down and pull it off, and there you have it. So I'm going to decorate these little bite-sized brownies. I think that they probably look better, and they'll taste delicious with this little icing on it too. It'll just give it that extra I know it's going to be good. And I did have enough to make another cooking of brownies, so we have 48 out of one recipe, so that's great. I felt a little air bubble in that one. See how quick and easy this is? You could decorate it with color. You could ever have, whatever tip you wanted to, but I'm just using the star. I think that's cute. And then you could display these. Presentation of food is just what draws people to food. Now, not all food that's pretty is good, but I do love for mine to look good, but I also like for it to taste good. So there you have it. There we have brownies, bite-sized brownies, all decorated. I think it's going to be a winner. Okay, friends, we have these bite-sized brownies made. I'm so proud of them, and I thank you so much for helping me to make them and cheering me on. You know, when we get something new, it takes a little while to adjust to it, and so my little silicone brownie sheet that I used here, bite-sized brownie sheet, it'll just take me a little while to get used to using it, and I do like it. And this is going to be great for a reception or a little party where you just go by and pick up one. So anyway, I think I'm going to try one right here. It's so good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.